Welcome to Do Your Health. I'm your host, Rhonda Alfred, and joining us on this episode is Michelle Briceno, registered dietitian at Terrebonne General Health System. We're going to be discussing National Cholesterol Education Month and the importance of understanding and managing cholesterol levels for your health. Welcome to the show, Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, let's get started with you telling us a little bit more about yourself and your role at Terrebonne General.
So I'm a registered dietitian with the Healthy Lifestyle Center. So my job is wellness. So I like to prevent illness from happening beforehand and to help control illness once it's been diagnosed. We do anything from nutrition education for medical conditions all the way through weight management.
All right, you're a busy lady. I know that because
Yes.
we have a lot of community education
We do.
programs. All right, well, apparently this is a very important topic, National Education Cholesterol Month. So tell us, why is it important?
So it's important to know your numbers. Wellness is knowing prevention, knowing ahead of time. So making sure that you're aware that your doctor is doing a cholesterol screening, understanding what your numbers are. If they're elevated, what to do to prevent those things. So that way we can stop the high incidence of heart disease here in Louisiana.
Okay, and cholesterol plays a big role in that. For those who may not know it, can you tell us what types of cholesterol there are?
So there are two main types. You have LDL, which is known as your bad cholesterol, and we associate that type of cholesterol with animal fats. And what happens is your body will take that extra fat and form plaque in your arteries. The other type of fat, I like to call it the superhero fat, is known as HDL, which is your good fats. And those come from plant-based fats. And they're the superhero because they help combat all those bad fats, bring them back to the liver, break them down so that way you can excrete them from your body.
So your good fat number needs to be high.
Correct. We want your HDL to be high and your LDL to be low.
Okay. Well, are there some risk factors and dangers of having high cholesterol?
For sure, genetically. I mean, if you have family history, that puts you at risk. Inactivity is a big one. Smoking is a big one, and diet. So in my area, we talk about diet and see if we can decrease those things to make your numbers better.
So how can knowing your numbers help you to lead a healthier life?
It's important to know where you're at. If you have a family history and you know that you need to watch what you're doing to prevent any kind of heart disease later in life, it's important to know those numbers now. If you are 50 or 60 or 70, you've never known those numbers, it's important to see where you're at so that way we can prevent any future or, more heart disease.
So what are some ways that people can manage their cholesterol?
So, of course, if you're smoking, going through smoking cessation programs, if you are inactive, just trying to walk or just move around a lot more. Medications is a big one. So a lot of people don't want to be on medications, but sometimes family history kind of overrules that. And then diet. So we watch diet, we go through diet and see if there's anything in your diet that may be causing that.
Can we tell how much cholesterol is in our food?
We can. It is on a nutrition label. That's something that we can see. And we go over what are those things that we look for as far as that.
Okay, so give us some tips about good, healthy cholesterol foods that we can buy in the groceries.
So the main source of your high cholesterol is going to be from your protein, and that's going to be all your meat sources. So we encourage plant-based because it's going to have very little to no fat, but any of your animal sources, specifically red meats, so your beef, your pork, those are naturally high sources of cholesterol, so we want to make sure you're choosing as lean as you possibly can, trimming the fat, straining the fat as much as you can, buying your higher percentage ground meats as much as possible. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 8 ounces of red meat a week.
And how big is that?
The palm of your hand is about 4 ounces. So for people who like to get 1 pound steaks at the restaurant, not so good as far as heart health diet.
That, right?
Yes.
Well, so many people are eating a lot of protein. You hear
Yes.
you need to eat more protein. You need to eat more protein.
And there are proteins that are leaner, such as your poultry, your seafood, fish, of course, plant-based, and then like egg whites. So there are better sources of protein that are going to be lower in fat.
What about protein powder, like adding that and protein bars?
So
Does
your
that affect
protein
cholesterol?
powder is not going to have the fat that's associated with milk. So with milk, we usually say low-fat dairy, which is the protein, but not so much of the fat.
Okay, and why is monitoring cholesterol so important?
It's important because we don't want heart disease. We want to prevent heart disease if we can stop it now. If you don't know and your numbers have been elevated for a long time, we don't know the damage that has been done for who knows how long.
Right, so cholesterol has a direct connection to heart
Correct.
disease, and it's a silent killer, basically.
It is. And we know that people who have uncontrolled cholesterol issues are 2 times more likely to develop heart disease.
Why don't you just review for us? The good cholesterol is called
HDL.
and then the bad cholesterol.
Yes.
And do you know the range of numbers that you need to be in?
It's going to be different between men and women, so those numbers are very variable. So that's something you definitely want to talk to your doctor about.
Okay.
Definitely schedule an appointment with a dietitian or talk to your doctor about what are the foods that you should watch. For sure, no fried foods. Or limiting how often you have fried foods because we are in South Louisiana. But knowing what are those big main factors.
Okay, and get it checked annually.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you so much for all this helpful information.
Thanks for having me.
For more information about cholesterol and weight management, visit tghealthsystem.com. Thanks so much for being with us on To Your Health. I'm your host, Rhonda Alfred, and we'll see you right back here next week.